Welcome to our exploration of brain death and its legal and ethical implications. In recent years, the concept of brain death has become a critical topic in both medical and legal fields, especially when it comes to end-of-life decisions and organ donation. Today we'll delve into what brain death means, how it's defined, and why it matters under Sharia law. We'll also discuss the process of organ donation and the conditions under which it is considered permissible. Let's begin by understanding the basics of brain death and why it's such a significant issue in modern healthcare. Brain death is more than just a medical term. It's a legal definition of death in many countries. It refers to the irreversible loss of all functions of the brain, including the brainstem. This means that the person has no capacity for consciousness or spontaneous breathing. In the context of Sharia law, the definition of death is particularly important because it determines when life support can be withdrawn and when organ donation may be considered. Understanding this definition helps clarify the responsibilities of medical professionals and the rights of patients and their families. To diagnose brain death, doctors rely on strict medical criteria. These include the absence of brainstem reflexes, no response to pain, and the inability to breathe without a ventilator. Additional tests may be performed to confirm the diagnosis, such as EEGs or blood flow studies. It's crucial that these criteria are met to avoid any doubt about the patient's condition. This rigorous process ensures that the declaration of brain death is accurate and ethically sound, especially when decisions about organ donation are involved. In Islamic jurisprudence, the definition of death carries profound religious and ethical significance. Traditionally, death was recognized by the cessation of heartbeat and breathing. However, with advances in medical technology, the concept of brain death has emerged as a new criterion. Scholars have debated whether brain death fulfills the requirements of death under Sharia law. This debate centers on whether the irreversible loss of brain function is equivalent to the end of life as described in Islamic texts. Legal rulings regarding brain death vary across different Islamic countries and schools of thought. Some scholars accept brain death as a valid definition, allowing for the withdrawal of life support and the possibility of organ donation. Others maintain that traditional signs of death must be present. These differences highlight the importance of consulting religious authorities and understanding local laws before making decisions about end-of-life care and organ donation. Brainstem controls essential functions like breathing, heart rate, and consciousness. In the context of brain death, the irreversible loss of brainstem function is a key factor. However, the study concludes that death cannot be determined solely by the death of the brainstem. This distinction is important because some bodily functions may continue even if the brainstem is no longer active. Understanding this nuance helps ensure that decisions about death are made with care and respect for both medical and religious standards. One of the most sensitive issues in brain death cases is whether it's permissible to remove life support. According to the study, if there is no hope for recovery, it is allowed to withdraw life support equipment. This decision must be made with the utmost care, involving medical professionals, religious scholars, and the patient's family. The goal is to ensure that the process respects both the dignity of the patient and the ethical principles of Sharia law. Organ donation is a life-saving act, but it raises important ethical and religious questions. The study finds that organ donation is permissible if the deceased gave prior permission or if their heirs consent. This approach balances the need to save lives with respect for the wishes of the deceased and their family. It also aligns with the broader principles of compassion and charity found in Islamic teachings. Consent is a cornerstone of ethical organ donation. In Islamic law, the autonomy of the individual and the rights of the family are both respected. Before organs can be used, clear permission must be obtained. This ensures that the process is transparent and that the dignity of the deceased is upheld. Families are encouraged to discuss these matters in advance to avoid confusion during difficult times. Study used both descriptive and analytical methods to examine the issue of brain death under Sharia law. By reviewing religious texts, legal opinions, and medical literature, the researchers provided a comprehensive overview of the topic. This approach helps ensure that the conclusions are well-founded and applicable in real-world situations. Historically, the definition of death was straightforward. When the heart stopped beating and breathing ceased, a person was considered dead. However, advances in medical technology have complicated this definition. Life support machines can maintain bodily functions even when the brain is no longer active. This has led to new debates about when death truly occurs and how to balance medical possibilities with ethical and religious values. Modern technology allows doctors to keep patients alive even when their brains have stopped functioning. Ventilators, feeding tubes, and other machines can sustain basic bodily functions. This raises questions about the quality of life and the appropriate time to withdraw support. In Islamic ethics, preserving life is important, but so is recognizing when life has truly ended. Families play a central role in decisions about brain death and organ donation. Their beliefs, values, and wishes must be respected throughout the process. Open communication between medical teams and families helps ensure that everyone understands the situation and that decisions are made with compassion and clarity. In facing complex medical decisions, many families seek guidance from religious scholars. These consultations help ensure that actions taken are in line with Islamic principles. Scholars can provide clarity on issues like brain death, organ donation, and the withdrawal of life support, offering comfort and reassurance to families during difficult times. Brain death cases often present ethical dilemmas for doctors, families, and religious leaders. Balancing the desire to preserve life with the need to respect the natural process of dying is challenging. Each case is unique, and decisions must be made with sensitivity to the values and beliefs of everyone involved. Different countries and cultures have their own approaches to brain death and organ donation. While some nations have clear legal frameworks, others rely more on religious or ethical guidelines. Understanding these differences is important for anyone involved in international healthcare or cross-cultural medical practice. Examining real-life case studies helps illustrate the complexities of brain death and organ donation. These stories highlight the importance of clear communication, ethical decision-making, and respect for religious beliefs. By learning from these examples, we can better navigate similar situations in our own communities. Medical teams are responsible for diagnosing brain death, communicating with families, and ensuring that all procedures are followed ethically. Their expertise and compassion are essential in guiding families through difficult decisions. Training and clear protocols help ensure that the process is both medically sound and respectful. Proper legal documentation is crucial in cases of brain death and organ donation. This includes medical records, consent forms, and any relevant religious or ethical statements. Accurate documentation protects the rights of patients and families and ensures that all actions are legally and ethically justified. Raising awareness about brain death and organ donation helps communities make informed decisions. Educational programs, public discussions, and religious seminars can provide valuable information and dispel common misconceptions. When communities are well informed, they are better equipped to handle these sensitive issues. There are many misconceptions about brain death, such as the belief that it's reversible or that patients may recover. In reality, brain death is a final and irreversible condition. Clarifying these misunderstandings is important for helping families make informed choices and for ensuring that medical and religious guidelines are properly followed. Obtaining prior permission for organ donation is essential in Islamic ethics. This ensures that the wishes of the deceased are respected and that the process is carried out in accordance with religious principles. Families are encouraged to discuss organ donation in advance and to document their wishes clearly. If the deceased did not provide prior permission, their heirs may be asked to make decisions about organ donation. This process must be handled with sensitivity and respect for family dynamics. The involvement of heirs ensures that the decision reflects the values and beliefs of the family as a whole. Islamic law emphasizes both compassion and adherence to legal principles. In cases of brain death and organ donation, it's important to balance the desire to help others with the need to follow religious guidelines. This balance ensures that actions are both morally and legally sound. Summarized, the study concludes that brain death should not be determined solely by the death of the brainstem. It is permissible to withdraw life support in cases of hopeless recovery, and organ donation is allowed with prior permission or the consent of heirs. These findings provide guidance for medical professionals, families, and religious leaders navigating these complex issues. The study offers practical recommendations for handling cases of brain death. These include following strict medical criteria, consulting religious authorities, obtaining clear consent, and ensuring transparent communication with families. By adhering to these guidelines, all parties can act with confidence and integrity. Implementing these recommendations can be challenging due to differences in legal systems, cultural beliefs, and medical practices. Ongoing education, dialogue, and collaboration are essential for overcoming these obstacles and ensuring that brain death and organ donation are managed ethically and effectively. Looking ahead, continued research and dialogue are needed to address emerging questions about brain death and organ donation. Advances in medical technology and changes in societal values will shape the way these issues are approached. By staying informed and engaged, we can ensure that our practices remain ethical and aligned with both medical and religious standards. Conclusion: brain death is a complex issue that intersects medicine, law, and religion. By understanding the medical criteria, respecting religious principles, and ensuring clear communication, we can navigate these challenges with compassion and integrity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the provisions of brain death and the disposition of organs under Sharia law. For those interested in learning more, there are many resources available on brain death, organ donation, and Islamic law. Consult medical professionals, religious scholars, and legal experts for guidance tailored to your situation. Staying informed empowers you to make the best decisions for yourself and your loved ones.